Michael Blatherwick, please.
Could you say the question one more time? Thanks.
Do you support Council's recent decision to close the Sportsplex pool once the YMCA facility is complete? And if you don't, how do you propose financially to keep it open and sustainable?
Absolutely not. Coincidentally, I did speak with Jack Harper this morning. He was one of the narrators on that master plan. And a lot of the data that was put together was brought together by city employees. There's no way that spending $750,000 to a private organization for a pool that costs $300,000 makes any financial sense.
Thank you. And Mr. Barry?
No, I don't support the decision to close the Sportsplex pool. It might be a surprise to some people, but that pool's been in operation for over 30 years and it's lost money every year. This is nothing new. The city knows that. They budget for it every year, and I don't support closing it. It's a very viable and affordable recreation facility for the citizens of Brandon and kids, and I'd love to see it stay open. How we maintain that is we lobby through government to obtain funds needed to do the repairs needed for the pool, and maybe dip into some of our reserve fund to do the necessary repairs and maintenance.
Sean, if I could, I have a follow-up. You indicated at the start of your answer that it was losing multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars per year, and yet you go on to say that it is affordable and sustainable. You are looking to the provincial government to provide with ongoing operating, when historically the provincial government has done a great job with capital investment, but ongoing operating generally is the responsibility of the community. So could you explain the difference? Okay,
sorry, the affordable and sustainable part, I meant for families that use the facility. It's an affordable facility for people to use. Sustainable, yes, we could sustain it if we have to maybe increase user fees a bit to pay for some of the repairs, but I don't think closing it is the answer. We are a growing city, and decreasing our recreation facilities is not the answer as our population grows.
Next question, John Laraggio, CKLQ News.
Since we're on the topic of recreation, the city finances the Keystone Center, the Sportsplex. My question is, there's a report that's coming out soon on the recreation building. That's the Wheat City Golf Course facility. We have a curling club that sits vacant, a restaurant, a pro shop. They're looking at perhaps renovating that building or spending more. A few years ago, there was some interest in buying the golf club. The city had a deal to run it privately. My next question would be, it's open to any candidate who would like to answer this. When the report from the rec building comes out and the options are, do we spend hundreds of thousands or millions for a golf course? Do we sell that to whoever wants it, take the money and put it into other recreation programs? And on that note, we talk about the Sportsplex, we talk about the pool, but it's a big facility that sucks up a lot of taxpayers' money. Should we look at that facility overall? And I guess since Mr. Fawcett, that's part of your ward, I'll let you answer this, and then Ms. Chaboyer, who's indicated she'd like to answer.
No, you're talking about quite a few things. In February, I did say...
Well, then let's start with the recreation center. That's a new issue that's going to come up that this council is going to face right off the bat. If it costs millions, do we look at how effective it is? Are we getting our tax dollars worth? Do we just sell it?
Yeah. And John, my understanding is that they are talking about the building. The golf course is not in play, as to say, right now again.
But it's all one. I mean, we need the building to operate the golf course.
Right. And so they are looking at, well, you know, I like that because in the rec plan, we need to revisit it because we do want more stuff. And we've been talking about field houses. We've been talking about that in the Sportsplex, and they're talking about it now down at the recreation center. Let's see what we need. We need some kind of clubhouse. What more? Well, let's have the rec plan and see what we need.
Do we need a golf course, though? Jan?
I think that we're going to have to revisit the recreation plan and see what the priorities are for recreational and sports, for healthy activities for our citizens. One of the initiatives that I think that the city should look at again is an accommodation tax that might be tied to the recreational activities. An accommodation tax, my understanding would be around $700,000 revenue per year, and it's a way of increasing some of the revenue for the city for those types of activities.
The city looked at an accommodation tax, turned it down. The business community is concerned that it could actually hurt. So can you expand? Why would you want to institute something?
My understanding of all the studies I've seen that and including Thompson and Winnipeg, their accommodation taxes are even at a higher rate of 5 to 7%, and we were looking at a 2% increase for $700,000. It doesn't hurt. It hasn't hurt the people visiting. I've never ever seen anyone complain about paying that fee when they come to a city. It's a no-brainer.
Errol Black?
Well, there's a whole lot of other questions just got opened up. But let me say on the recreation thing that Keystone Center, there needs to be more resources go into that.
Can you specifically answer, Errol, the recreation building, which is one of the first issues this council?
Let's see what the proposal is. We need to sustain the golf course. We need to provide a proper facility. The building on the North Hill, the sportsplex, I think the suggestion that we have to evaluate it again, we need to do that. We had an opportunity once to have experts in here to talk to us about long-term recreation, aquatic needs. We turned them down on the alternative sources of revenue. Anybody?
I think we've got two here, John, that have both
Okay.
indicated a desire to participate in this.
I'm sorry, I didn't see anybody.
Okay, we had
Ramona,
and
can we?
Michael.
Not specific to the facility that you're discussing, but similar to the sportsplex, I think we need to look at potential partnerships such as the YMCA project, the public-private partnership, increasing the efficiency of the tax dollars while we're still meeting the demands of our community.
I know the city tried with the Wheat City Golf Course, but it didn't really work out that well. So my question would be, would you be adverse to just selling it altogether? Should the city be in the golf course business?
Recreation is a civic responsibility. That's under the Manitoba Municipal Act. So I think that, like Mr. Black said, that we would need to have a call for proposals and go from there. Ultimately, the sportsplex, to keep it open, is going to cost the taxpayers an additional 2.5% increase on their tax dollar, on their property taxes. I think we need to look at these decisions very carefully.
Are you indicating, so you're in favor of golf, you're in favor of all of these other sports. First off, which one wouldn't you be in favor of? And how high would you suggest taxes should go in order to finance all of these recreational facilities?
I'm saying that recreation is a core responsibility of a civic leadership group. We need to explore the options to our community to make sure that those services are provided. The most efficient way to do that is through partnerships between public, private, and non-for-profit groups. That's what I'm saying. And I wouldn't pick a sport to
Thank you. Michael?
How long do we have to say this?
You've got 45 seconds.
Okay. First of all, I agree with Mr. Fawcett at the end of the table that the master plan needs to be reviewed. I'll tell you what the report's going to say. It's going to say we need money, just like every other recreation facility that I've seen in Westman. They're built in the Centennial, and they're all old, and they need infrastructure. We need a plan for the whole city and how we develop it. Right now, the city's philosophy is to privatize a lot of it out. We do little programming, and to really make an overall look at what we provide to our citizens and get the best value for the dollar is really what we need. So I'm not really putting golf, a high elitist type sport, over other ones when I have a facility like the Sportsplex, which serves a broader array of the community. You could really get into a great discussion on the efficiency of recreation dollars.
So then, would you say you're in favor of selling it, as an elitist sport? Just unload it and use the money elsewhere?
No, not at all. I think you need to look at all of the facilities that you have and to come up with a plan. To look at one in particular report on one facility isn't going to tell you a broader perspective of what you think is best for the growth of our city.
Michael, why would we want to subsidize elitism? Shouldn't rich elites be able to finance their own recreation?
Well, I'll answer that question with, it depends on what type of programming you do at that institution. Golf golf and any other sport does allow the opportunity to break down barriers. When you do have a facility that is limited to having to pay for a membership or rounds of golf, then in a way it is exclusive. Now, if there was programming at that Wheat City Golf Course that would allow for people who are of lower social economic benefit to try the sport out, then perhaps it's a larger, global, community-minded sport. So it really does go into user fee versus what's the responsibility of the city to provide recreation for the broader public. I golf a lot. I love golf. I swim a lot. In fact, I don't know a single sport that I don't play.
Thank
but
you very much.
But it really
If I
comes
may-
very much.
to the whole vision.
Thank you
of
very
the
much,
city.
Michael.
We have other candidates here who would like to answer. I believe it was Errol.
Yeah, on the question of an elitist activity, it isn't. I'm not a golfer. Once a year, best ball, that's it. But I know all kinds of young people, kids, seniors, all ages, all segments of the population golf. At one time it was elitist. It was a golf and country club, a privately owned organization. Couldn't make a go of it. The city took it over, and it's been a whole lot better and more accessible since the city did that.
We kind of got off track here. I didn't ask if it was an elitist sport or not. I just want to know, is the city willing to put more money into a facility?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Volek?
Yes, on the question on the rec center, obviously it's something that our community has had for a very long time. I do believe that the opportunity to play golf has to be presented to all people in Brandon. The Golf and Country Club, the rec center does need to stay as it is. There needs to be a plan worked out to generate more income and not lose as much. But it is not something that we want to get rid of totally.
Moving on to the next question, over to the panel, it's Devon Ross from the Brandon Sun.
Just before I ask this question, I just want to point out that I know everybody's interested in every issue, but remember, we've got a lot of questions to ask tonight, so unless you really care about something, you really want to get to the next question. So what we really want to talk about tonight is the races in each of the wards, and I want to start off with the Richmond ward. And my question is to Stephen Montague. Margot Campbell has represented the Richmond ward for a substantial part of your lifetime. Tell us why you think you would be a better Richmond ward councillor than somebody with that kind of experience.
Margot Campbell was first elected when I was 9 years old. I'm now 30. That's quite a while. I think Margot Campbell for her time in the Richmond ward. I think where I bring a new voice to the table is my demonstrated leadership in getting results for those that I'm elected to represent, the diverse population that the ward now is, that I've represented in the past as the students in the university were very diverse. And I've shown a very demonstrated ability to build consensus with those in various boards, both provincially, university boards, provincially and federally, and make big changes for those that I was elected to represent and bring a new voice as I'm struggling to go through many of the same issues that young families in Brandon now are. And Brandon's changed a lot in 21 years, and it's time for a new voice.
Margot, you'll have an answer, obviously.
I'm not that old. I liken this very much to the city is growing. We need experienced representatives. We need people with caring attitudes, ones that listen to their constituents. But I really put it to, if you had a bad heart, or if you had a root canal that needed done, would you go to the person that you knew cared for you, did an excellent job, or would you say, oh, it's time for a change. I think I might go to this new guy that I don't know anything about, has never done it for me, never cared for me, or would you stick with the one you know is there for you?